Hello, thank you for this opportunity once again. It is a nice, wonderful morning that we have been blessed with, and we are here to experience what God has given us, or what we have at our disposal. And one of the things that we are always entitled to do is to reflect and to think and to synthesize the information that we have. So today we are going to look at social and ethical behavior in virtual reality, and particularly I'm going to share and talk about three main things. I'm going to talk about virtual harassment and cyberbullying. I'm going to talk about identity impersonation and ethical avatars. I'm also going to talk on positive social behavior in virtual reality communities. So we are going to look at what are the ways in which we can promote social responsibility within the society to encourage good use of information, good use of virtual reality. So stick with me and let us get into what we are supposed to do. So I'm going to start by giving you the definition of what cyberbullying is and virtual harassment is. We are going to look at some of the impact that virtual harassment and cyberbullying have on individual, on people. We're going to look at the psychological effect and social consequences that are related to cyberbullying and virtual harassment. So cyberbullying is basically using digital platforms and internet, like social media, to harass, threaten, or intimidate someone. So it can take different forms. It can take the form where you spread rumor or somebody spread untrue information about an individual, or they can even go ahead and share inappropriate pictures or videos of a person or of their subject. So that is what we call cyberbullying. On the other hand, we have what we call virtual harassment. Now, virtual harassment is a broader term consisting of unwanted, repeated behaviors causing distress to people. It can come in form, or it can manifest in form of cyberbullying, but it is extended to other form like mistreatment, stalking, or doxing, or spreading false information. Now, to make things clear, there is what we call here doxing. Now, doxing is simplicity, is the whole idea of you having some information, personal information about somebody, and you end up sharing this information through IT infrastructure to your friend or the people around you without the owner's consent. So that is what we call doxing. Now, these two have psychological and social effect on individuals. When we are talking of psychological effect, both cyberbullying and virtual harassment have severe effect on individual, leading to what we call anxiety, depression, and in extreme cases it can lead to suicidal thought, which might degenerate into actual or somebody committing suicide. So it is important to look at that and get to know how we can be able to look at it in holistically and come up with ways and means with which we can be able to help in this area. Now, we need to know that the social consequences of the two has got a far-reaching effect, not only within the periphery or within individual environment, but it will also affect people around us, and where the affected may have difficulty in understanding, in fitting in to the society they are living in, because victims may experience what we call social isolation. This is or may have been caused by what we call social harassment on the what we call social environment. This action or this kind of isolation can basically lead people to the negative side, and they may even contemplate suicide. So it is important to look that as well. There are various ways that have been proposed in combating cyberbullying and virtual harassment. One of them is what most of the governments worldwide have been able to put in place. They have come up with legislation. So many countries have come up and formulated different legislation regarding how cyberbullying and online harassment are supposed to be handled. So they are providing a legal framework for prosecuting offenders, for prosecuting the people who are perpetuating cyberbullying and virtual harassment online. So the one of the ways to combat cyberbullying is coming up with the legislation. We need to have a robust reporting mechanism. Social media platform often have got a ways and means or mechanism through which somebody can be able to inform them or tell them of what they are experiencing, or report some incidents and request assistance. So it is important that we get to know these means and these ways. We also need to have what we call educational initiative. So people should be educated. There should be digital literacy program that is aimed at educating the general public on these issues, on these social problems that are emanating or coming because of continued use of technology and advancement of technology. So we need to have some form of digital literacy program that is aimed at educating the general public on how and ways and where to report when they have been cyberbullied or they are experiencing what we call virtual harassment. So apart from that, we also need to empower bystanders. We need to encourage bystanders to intervene and report instances of cyberbullying. This can be able to make our online environment safer and conducive for everyone to thrive and to be able to achieve much with what they have. So the next thing that I mentioned is what we call identity impersonation and ethical avatar. So when we are talking of digital identity in virtual environment, individual always, most of the time, create digital identities which mirror real world personas. So these digital identities or identity encompasses how users present themselves online, including avatars, usernames, personal information. So those are some of the things that form or become part of your digital identity or an individual's identity online. So we have what we call anonymity and also pseudo-anonymity. So these two allow users to engage without revealing their identities. With this, while this may be a way of protection and privacy implementation, it also raises concern about accountability and potential misuse, because some people may hide as they perpetuate some other illegal things within the environment. So it is a good thing, and it is something that is worth considering and looking at it soberness and with sobriety to be able to strategies and come up with the best way forward when it comes to anonymity and pseudo-anonymity. So it is important to look at that. So we also have what we call impersonation and ethical implication. So basically, impersonation has got ethical implication that comes with it. So online impersonation mostly involve me or you impersonating another people, pretending to be another person, yet you are not them. So you use their identity to perpetuate one or two things, whichever area. So it is a situation where the offenders impersonate their victims as they masquerade as them and try to gain one or two things from that. So it is important to look at that. We also have what we call deep fakes. So it is of advanced impersonation that involve artificial intelligence. So this also raises concern, because as much as virtual reality and artificial intelligence are the drivers of technologies today, they also come with their fair share of trouble. And so we need to look at all this, because there's so much that we need to put our heads around and be able to synchronize the synergy that is coming out of this, and be able to present what is palatable and what people are able to resonate with, and that will not infringe on the rights of people, and it will not bring problems and litigations here and there. So these deepfakes basically involve use of artificial intelligence to create realistic but fabricated videos or audio recording, or mostly for malicious intent. So it is important to remember that impersonation of any form is not good at all. So we need to know also the ethical consideration in avatar creation. We have what we call avatar. Now avatar is a graphical representation of users which can be manipulated digitally or using a computer. So avatar creation in virtual environments should consider issues of representation and bias. Designing an avatar that are inclusive and avoid reinforcing stereotypes is very important in coming up with what we call an avatar. So your avatar should be ethically sound and should not possess any kind of stereotyping that might lead to other forms of infringement. So we also need to know that when you're creating avatar for somebody, you must have their consent and permission. So using another person's image or likeness to create an avatar require their explicit consent. So ethical avatar creation involve respecting individuals' right to control how their identities are represented in virtual space. So we need to do what we need to strike a balance. So to strike this balance, we need to have ethical guidelines that are able to guide us through, that are able to form the logical steps or that we need that we follow in order to safeguard our society from intrusion or from misuse of the content and information that is there that we provide to the virtual reality environment. So we need to strike a balance, and to strike this balance we need to be able to commit ourselves in perpetuating what we call transparency. So platforms and applications should be transparent about collection and use of users' data, so including avatar creation and such. We should also get involved in user empowerment, so empowering users to control their digital identity, including avatars, is very important, because it will provide tools for users to manage and basically customize their online persona, which can foster sense of ownership and sense of agency. So it is important to reflect on that. Now finally, we need to look at the promoting positive social behavior in virtual reality communities. So where human beings interact, whether physical or virtually as it is today, we create communities, and these communities have got ways and means and technically methods with which they communicate and which they share information. So in the ways in which they interact, the way people interact within the society is normally defined by the framework that society or community is living by. So we need to come up with community guidelines and standards. So some of the standards that we need to develop is clear policy. So we need to establish and communicate clear community guidelines that outline expected behavior. We need to have transparency. We need to have transparency. We need to be transparent. We need to make sure that these guidelines are easily accessible within the virtual reality platform, and we need to ensure users understand the expectation for their behavior. We also need to moderate and come up with sound reporting systems. We need to be active, motivate, and moderate. So active moderation is important. So we need to implement active moderation to monitor users' interaction and address inappropriate behavior promptly when they happen. We need to report. We need to develop reporting mechanism. So users should have means, and this means to report should be easy for them to report. It should be something that is not complex for them to look and find and be able to report whatever they are going through or what has been done against them, against their will. So we need to look at that. We also need to have education training. So we should have digital literacy programs. I alluded to this earlier. So this will help in educating the masses of virtual reality and their effect. And our training, as it may be, should be inclusive. It should be diverse. It should be able to, inculcate a sense of unity amidst all diverse cultures and creed that we ascribe to. So it is important that our training should be inclusive. We should also have what we call avatar and environment design. Okay, right? So what we are talking about is diverse avatar options. Provide a diverse range of avatar customization options to ensure that every people is represented or every person is included. We should have accessible environment. So design virtual reality spaces that are accessible to users with different abilities and preferences. We should also have what we call positive reinforcement. So we need to do a number of things as far as this is concerned. So one of them is recognition, and the second one is what we call reward system. So recognition comes in this way: acknowledge and celebrate positive contribution within the society. That will also help. So we also need to have some kind of reward system, implement reward system that incentivizes positive engagement and contribution within the society or within the community. Then we also need to get involved in community building activities, so that we are able to come up with events and activities that bring people together, that bring people to talk and discuss and collaborate on issues that are going to strengthen the society and bring people together, and also make people know the expectation of the society. There should be some kind of shared goal that everyone is able to refer to, everyone is clear about, everyone understands them. Then there should be good and well means of communication. There should be clear communication channels. So we have open communications where we foster open channels of communication between users and communities administrators to encourage feedback and suggestion for improvement. We need to come up with conflict resolutions. that are quick and prompt. So we need to establish effective process of resolving conflicts, ensuring fairness and transparency at the end of the day. So we also need to have regular updates and improvement based on the feedback generated from users and what the community has been able to relay to the creators of virtual reality system. We also need to engage the community, talk to the community leaders, identify and empower community leaders who can set positive example to assist the society in one way or another in making the society better, even with these technologies that we have. We also need to have inclusive decision making, which involve the community decision making process to create sense of ownership and inclusion. And if we do that, not only in virtual reality but also in other aspects of our lives, then we are bound to derive much from our social interaction and even from the use of the technologies that we have today. So thank you, people, for giving me this opportunity once again and share with you this information. I hope and believe it is helping you in one way or another, because knowledge is not only power. Knowledge is progress, because based on knowledge we can be able to make what we call informed decisions, and when we are making informed decisions, we are better able to execute the right actions and the right things at the right time. So thank you. Remember to subscribe, and remember to hit that notification button, so that when I produce a video like this, you will be the first one to be notified of it. So thank you, and see you next time.